Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order this June 12th, 2023 Rules and Operations Committee of the Pierce County Council. The time is 10:02 a.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Campbell.
Here.
Councilmember Morrell.
Here.
Councilmember Mello.
Here.
You have 3 members present.
Thank you. We have 3 members present and a quorum. We're also joined by Councilmember Hitchin this morning, and I also see on the attendees list Councilmember Herrera. Item number 3 is approval of the agenda. Is there any objection to the agenda as presented? Not seeing any, the agenda will stand approved. Item number 4 is approval of minutes, and we have the June 5th, 2023 minutes of the Rules and Operations Committee. Is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Not seeing any, the minutes of June 5, 2023 will be approved. That brings us to item 5, approval of the meeting schedule for the week of June 19th through the 23rd. Mr. Cox.
Yes. Chair Mello, members of the committee, Jeff Cox, council staff. You currently have before you the amended meeting schedule for June 12th through the 16th, 2023. The first item up is the June 12th Rules and Operations Committee, which we're presently in. There's one item on today's agenda later today that's proposed.
Cox, we're on the meeting schedule for June 19th through the 23rd.
Excuse me. Sorry. This is the meeting schedule for June 19th through the 23rd, 2023. The office is closed on June 19th, which is the Juneteenth holiday. The next thing on your agenda for June 20th is the Health and Human Services Committee meeting, and you have 3 items on that agenda. The first is Unified Regional Approach Update. That's by Heather Moss. The second is the Housing Action Strategy Semi-Annual Implementation Report. That's by Brian Schmidt, the Affordable Housing Supervisor. And the third is the Community Development Corporation Expansion Recommendations. That's by Brian Schmidt, Affordable Housing Supervisor. The next up meeting you have today is at 11 o'clock, and that's a special meeting of the Rules and Operations Committee. And you have on that agenda item number 6, pending approval from the June 13th Council Consent Agenda, proposal number 2023-95, a resolution of the Council adopting a new organization chart for the Office of the Pierce County Council. Next item on at noon, you have your Tuesday study session, and that is your normal schedule of activities. Following adjournment of the study session, a closed session will be held. And at 3 o'clock, you have your council meeting on Tuesday. On Wednesday, there is a Flood Control Zone District Executive Committee meeting, although it states that it's been canceled. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there questions about the meeting schedule for June 19th through the 23rd? Are we good?
Right.
Vice Chair Kimball?
And really for Councilmember Morrell, the Flood Control Zone Executive Committee meeting is canceled. Is that a reschedule? Check on that. All right, no worries.
Any other questions about the meeting schedule for the week of June 19th? Vice Chair Campbell for a motion.
I move that we adopt the meeting schedule for the week of June 19th through the 23rd of 2023.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt the meeting schedule for the week of June 19th through 23rd as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted.
You know,
Vice Chair Campbell?
well, I was doing some math here, and I'm a little concerned about the Health and Human Services meeting getting wrapped up by 11 to then flip and have a rules meeting, and wondering if we need the full hour for rules. I'll look to the Chair of Health and Human Services. Looks like a pretty robust agenda. And the Chair of Rules, and see if the two of you think we're good.
Councilmember Hitchin?
Thank you, Chair. I think in the past, when we've run into this issue, we've asked members to kind of come with their questions ahead of time and understanding these are conversations. We don't have a public forum, and if we don't quite finish, we can always push it to another. I was asked to add something else to the calendar for that day, and I specifically said no. So just as an FYI, just because I wanted to make sure that we at least tried. And then I think if we need to, if it's a special meeting, are we allowed to start those late? If, like, I don't know how that works, but we can.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic that happens behind the scenes that we don't necessarily have an understanding of. Madam Clerk, has the Rules and Operations Committee already been noticed, the special meeting?
It has not been noticed.
It has not been noticed. We could notice it for 11:30 if we wanted to. There's one action item and the other approval of the agendas. Is that the, would that be the pleasure of the council? I'm fine with moving it to 11:30 if that's the pleasure of the council.
It makes sense to me, but I wasn't super concerned. I just knew it was going to be tight.
Yeah, it was going to be tight, and these are important conversations. I don't want us to have to,
Rush.
yeah.
I would take that suggestion to move the special meeting of the Rules and Operations Committee on June the 20th to 11:30, give a little bit more breathing room to the Health and Human Services Committee. We have a short week that week because of the Juneteenth holiday, so we're trying to cram a lot into a number of days.
So do I have to do reconsideration on the previous motion?
Madam Clerk, what would,
Because we passed it and then I noticed it.
What's the question? If it's going
can we do another motion to,
Sure.
So Vice Chair Campbell, I think you can make a correcting motion.
I want to make a motion to amend the previous motion to change the special meeting of Rules and Operation Committee for the, what date is that, Tuesday, June 20th to 11:30 a.m.
It's been privately moved and seconded to adjust the meeting time for the special meeting of the Rules and Operations Committee on Tuesday, June 20th from 11 a.m. to a start time of 11:30 a.m. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. Thank you for helping think that through. Item number 6 is approval of the council agenda for June 20th, 2023. Mr. Cox.
Yes, Chair Mello, in front of you, you have the meeting agenda for June 20th, 2023. And the first item up, you have under your consent agenda, you have 3 proposals. You have proposal R 2023-94. That's a resolution of the council confirming the appointment of one new member, David Baumgardner, to the Gig Harbor Peninsula Land Use Advisory Commission. Next, you have R 2023-96, which is confirming the appointment of one new member, Camila Maturana, and the reappointment of 2 existing members, Alice Fong and George Consuelo, to the Commission on Refugee and Immigrant Affairs. This is for final consideration as well. And the third up, you have R 2023-97, which is a resolution confirming the reappointment of one existing member, Holly Johnson, to the Pierce County Community Development Corporation Board of Directors. And this is up for final consideration. The next item you have is under item 8, ordinances. You have proposal 2023-22S, which is an ordinance repealing and replacing the Growth Management Act 2044 housing unit targets for cities, towns, and the unincorporated areas of Pierce County, adopting 2044 housing unit targets by income band using the Department of Commerce Housing for All planning tool, and adopting findings of fact. This received a recommendation from the Community Development Committee to forward as substituted without recommendation, and that occurred on June 5th, and it'll be up for final consideration. Next, under item 9, resolutions, you have proposal R 2023-89, and this is a resolution initiating an analysis of proposed locations for automated traffic safety cameras within certain school zones and related requirements as a precursor to establishing a school zone automated traffic safety camera program. This will be heard in the Economic and Infrastructure Development Committee on June 13th, and it will be up for final consideration. Next, you have R 2023-91, and this is a resolution of the council authorizing the executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Pierce County and the municipal corporations of Auburn, Bonnie Lake, Edgewood 5, Gig Harbor, Lakewood, Puyallup, Sumner, Tacoma, and University Place related to the formation of the Pierce County Opioid Abatement Council. This will be heard in Rules and Operations Committee on June 12th. It'll be up for final consideration, and that's your agenda for June 20th, 2023. We have to answer questions.
Thank you. Are there questions about the June 20th council meeting agenda? Vice Chair Campbell.
I have about 4. So last week, we adopted new rules of procedure. I don't see them reflected in this agenda.
It needs to be signed by the executive.
Of course, we have to wait for it to be signed by the executive. But, so it'll just be, because if they signed it today, that'd be before this meeting. So would we just do it the next unapproved meeting? We should have put an effective date on there. I just realized, but
We're currently planning for the meeting of July 5th to put all of that into effect, awaiting the executive's signature and then the wait time for something to become effective thereafter per the charter. So right now, the current plan is for that new council rules of procedure for the agenda to go into effect for the meeting of July 5th.
okay. Just wanted to, as we were looking at this, knowing that we need to be prepared to adopt it as the schedule even before it becomes an effective ordinance, because we have to adopt it 2 weeks in advance.
Oh,
So we'll be adopting one before it's approved. So I have trust that staff can work that out. Other item here, number 2 under consent agenda, which is the appointment and reappointment to the Refugee and Immigrant Affairs. If we can make sure that we have name pronunciations on that for when we get to the council meeting so that we get the names properly in there. And then when it comes to the appointment, there was a hiccup on the one new member, who's the District 5 member. Mr. Cox, quick question for you. Apparently there was a conflict between the code of the committee and our charter. Which do we generally follow? If there's a conflict between committee code and charter, which one would be the one that we should follow?
Well, in any instance of a conflict, the charter is supreme, of course. Is this conflict? Was this relayed to you by Susan Long or?
No, from staff, relayed because the position became open last December.
Nice.
We have 60-day timeframes to fill a position, and I was told the reason it wasn't filled was, although the charter requires we have to do it within 60 days, 60 or 90, one of the two, we're way beyond it, that they said that there's a provision that no more than 4 people can come from within one municipality on the charter, and that appointing this person was going to violate a code of the committee. But our charter said we needed to fill the position.
I see what you're saying. If I would prefer not making a call, an open public session until I've had a chance to look at it and discuss it with staff, so if you don't mind.
So, Mr. Chair, so council member, can you clarify, are you speaking to the Community Development Corporation or the?
No, number 2.
Commission on
C2,
Refugee.
Commission on Immigrant and Refugee
Okay,
Affairs.
staff is just trying to sort out
Yeah.
which one you're referring to so that we can follow up and get your questions answered. I think it might be best if staff confers with you after the committee meeting today to get greater specificity to try to answer
Yeah.
this question that you have.
Yeah, and we have the appointment coming, so it's all resolving. But it was, my understanding is the reason why instead of doing it within 60 days, we waited 6 months was because it was going to put too many people from one municipality on the committee, which there's not supposed to be more than 4. However, the position that was vacated was someone who lived in the city of Tacoma, being replaced by someone in the city of Tacoma, so it was either in violation of code before or not, but to delay this appointment for 6 months in violation of the charter is something I just want to make sure we don't do again in the future.
So I'm not, as far as the charter goes, I'm not aware of the charter specifically referencing the Commission on Refugee and Immigrant Affairs. It does require that the county take action within 30 days of an appointment notification via resolution being provided to the council, or else the appointment automatically occurs. So I'm wondering if there's staff will huddle up with you afterwards
Okay.
to try to get that
Yeah.
straightened out. Okay.
No, I think we're on good course here, but we have good outcomes coming, but our path wasn't probably the most efficient path. We could have formed the best path, and just so that we all know that and look for it going forward.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions about the June 20th, 2023 council meeting agenda? Let's see, any Vice Chair Campbell for a motion?
I move adoption of the June 20th, 23 council meeting agenda.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the meeting agenda for June 20th, 2023. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. That brings us to item number 7, proposal number 2023-91. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Proposal number R 2023-91, a resolution of the Pierce County Council authorizing the Pierce County Executive to enter into an local agreement between Pierce County
Last
and
line, please.
last line is council.
Thank you. Ms. Merrick.
Thank you, Chair Mello. Good morning, committee members. For the record, Lee Beth Merrick, council staff. Before you is Resolution 2023-91, which authorizes the executive to enter into an interlocal agreement to form the Pierce County Opioid Abatement Council. For some brief background, the state and local governments have been in ongoing litigation with opioid distributors, pharmacies, and producers for their role in the opioid epidemic. A number of these lawsuits have settled, resulting in payouts to the state and local governments. In order for a local government to receive the payouts, they must have signed the One Washington Memorandum of Understanding, which details the requirements for receiving and spending the settlement funds. In 2022, the council adopted a resolution authorizing the executive to sign the MOU. In addition to Pierce County, Auburn, Bonnie Lake, Edgewood, Fife, Gig Harbor, Lakewood, Puyallup, Sumner, Tacoma, and University Place are all parties to the MOU, which form the Pierce County funding region. Pierce County is expected to receive about $29 million in funding from the settlements over the next 17 years, with the Pierce County funding region expected to receive about $48 million total. The first annual payout was distributed in December of 2022. Before these funds can be spent, the MOU requires that each funding region form an opioid abatement council with the duty of ensuring that the funds are spent in accordance with the settlement's approved uses. The proposal before you authorizes the executive to enter into a interlocal agreement between Pierce County and the municipal corporations of Auburn, Bonnie Lake, Edgewood, Fife, Gig Harbor, Lakewood, Puyallup, Sumner, Tacoma, and University Place for the formation of the Pierce County Opioid Abatement Council. The council is created to fulfill the obligations set forth in the One Washington MOU, which includes overseeing and ensuring the parties spend the opioid settlement funds on the approved uses that are outlined in the MOU. The parties are responsible for allocating their portion of the settlement funds and must report their allocations to the Opioid Abatement Council. Each party may appoint one member to the Opioid Abatement Council, and the members are appointed for 3-year terms, but they may serve multiple terms. A party may choose to leave their position vacant, but the Opioid Abatement Council must have at least 5 members. There is no fiscal impact. The equity note is available starting on page 15 of your packet. And that concludes my briefing. I'm happy to answer any questions about the proposal.
Thank you, Ms. Merrick. Questions? Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Merrick, just looking at the cities that are signed up, I'm not too sure about the distribution. Is there a benchmark of cities 10,000 and above? So that's why we don't see any of the smaller jurisdictions?
Yes, that's my understanding, is that in order to be party to the MOU, you had to have a census of 10,000 people or more.
Okay. And so those other smaller cities won't get any distribution, is that my understanding?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hitchin, do you have any data? You've been working really hard to convene communities, including these cities, about this topic. Do you have any data?
Yeah, I think the thing I would add is kind of along the lines of what Councilmember Morrell was discussing. When they determined the allocations, they used the data, a couple data points, but one of them was lives lost. And for jurisdictions that did not actually receive funding, I think the data for those were incorporated in our numbers. So they're part of the Pierce County number when we're looking at our smaller cities and towns. But these specific jurisdictions had a high enough population and large numbers that they got a direct appropriation or a direct allocation from the settlement. Remembering some of these cities are getting $10,000-$12,000 a year, so not a lot you can do with that amount. It is over time, so it can be helpful, but I think that this was the first step in a much larger conversation about how we can work together and collaborate and kind of braid and blend. It's one of my favorite new things to say, braid and blend some of these funding sources that we have access to try and do some good countywide. So I think that would be the big thing, but this was that first hurdle, and love that we settled on the auditor's office to do this auditing function. Thank you, former chair Derek Young, for randomly saying, well, the auditor gets a lot of random things and it's an auditing function. Why not send it to the auditor's office? And they're very neutral. They're very used to billing and working with communities and member jurisdictions. They know how all of our cities and towns communicate and who to call if there's a problem. So I think it will work really well for this auditing function. So I think, the cities and towns, some of their, Lakewood passed it last week. There's several cities and towns that have already passed it. So thank you.
Thank you for that update, and thank you for your work. Before we move on, could we move Councilmember Herrera to a panelist in the event he wants to participate? And could you also please move Michelle Luna, who's with the prosecuting attorney's office, who's the PA on this matter, to the panelist in case we need her to participate? Ms. Merrick, I was hoping you could reiterate for the public's benefit the difference between this opioid abatement council, which we are forming and have to form due to the memorandum of understanding in order to collect the funds, the difference between their function and role and how we envision going about making allocation or investment to abate the crisis. Can you repeat the difference and how we anticipate getting to the actual investment stage?
Absolutely, Chair Mello. So I think the MOU is pretty clear that the Opioid Abatement Council's role is an auditing function, and I think Ms. Luna can speak to that as well, she's been very involved in these conversations. But I think through the settlement, they wanted to ensure that the funds are being spent on approved uses. So the council will just, the Opioid Abatement Council will just make sure that the parties, the local governments, are spending the funds in accordance with the approved uses that are in the MOU. So
Not the allocation committee.
correct. The local governments retain that control. So they allocate the funding, they develop a methodology for receiving proposals, for getting public input in terms of how they spend the money. So that's all a responsibility of the local government, how the funds get spent. The Opioid Abatement Council is just making sure that the funds are spent on approved uses.
Great. And I know we have a deadline of June 30th to set up the abatement council, which is not the allocation committee, but still a very important function. Ms. Luna or Councilmember Hitchin, do you think we're on track to meet that critical deadline by the end of the month to set up the abatement council with all of our city partners?
I believe that we are. We were pretty clear about what needed to happen. I don't actually know how many have sent theirs in. I noticed Lakewood only because they send me their stuff. So, but maybe Ms. Luna has an update on how many have been emailed back to her.
Ms. Luna?
Thank you. I believe so far I have the city of, I need to double check, but the city of Sumner, Fife, I believe Auburn and Lakewood, and possibly UP is coming through soon. So everyone's on board to get it done by June 30th. And I don't have anything to add to what Ms. Merrick said about this is not about allocation. It's only about accountability and responsibility for the expenditure of funds.
Thank you. Any other questions for any of those individuals? Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you, and I appreciate you clarifying that it's an audit-only committee. The local jurisdictions will come up with a plan for spending the money. Now, do they have to have that plan approved by the audit committee before the spending, or can they spend the money and then the audit committee then reviews the dollars actually spent? And what is the penalties if they spend it on the wrong use?
So to answer your first question, Councilmember Morrell, no, they do not need to have their spending plans approved. They can spend the money, but they need to submit their expenditures to the Opioid Abatement Council. If they do not spend it on an approved use, I'm going to defer to Ms. Luna on that, who can probably speak more about what the actual MOU, the One Washington MOU says, but there can be action taken, so.
Okay, so before we go to Ms. Luna, the other question that I have that she can add more clarity is, you said that they could accumulate the funds. In other words, do they have to be spent within a certain amount of time?
No.
So they could take their $10,000 and make it $20,000 if they wait for the next, and $30,000 and $40,000, and there's no limit to when the money has to be spent chronologically.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Say they have 18 years.
Thank you for the question. There was a clarification in chambers that we have at least 17, we'll be receiving the dollars over 17 years and presumably have at least that amount of time to invest, knowing we have an urgent crisis right in front of us, but we don't get the money all at once, we get the money over time. Councilmember Romero?
Thank you. And just to clarify with Ms. Luna, what happens if the money is spent on an item that isn't approved within the MOU? What happens?
Thank you. So per the One Washington MOU, which is built into our agreement, the OAC will be responsible for that monitoring. There can be, how do I want to phrase it, violations found. And then it's up to the discretion of the OAC in terms of what the consequences for those violations are, from verbal counseling and recoaching up to having the funds be remitted to the OAC as a body for redistribution amongst the group.
Okay. Guess I'm foggily cleared on that.
Thank you. Thank you for those questions. Ms. Merrick, I don't think we have any other questions for you at this time. Thank you for shepherding this along with Councilmember Hitchen. This is a public hearing. Anyone in chambers wishing to provide comment on this resolution to form the Pierce County Opioid Abatement Council? Not seeing anyone in chambers. Mr. Dominique, I think is who I'm calling on, to help me with the public hearing online.
Any member of the public wishing to provide public comment, please press the raise hand icon or *9 on your telephone keypad. And seeing no one.
Thank you. Seeing no hands, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the committee. Are there any final questions or comments by committee members? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to express my thanks to Michelle with the prosecuting, or Ms. Luna from the prosecuting attorneys, and Ms. Merrick for helping kind of get this through the finish line. And this is the I don't know, third step, but it was the stop block. Like, it would not allow us to go to the next thing until we actually got this passed. So really pleased that we found something that is workable, and between the legal staff from all of these jurisdictions and the one or two city council members that were tapped to be part of that, we're continuing that conversation about what happens next, because we know there's power if we can blend and braid the funding, but the idea of sharing the burden, but also how do we get services beyond our metro central areas, beyond the borders of Tacoma, and out. So more conversation to come. The work is definitely not done, but this was an important first step. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Merrick, I'm sorry, I do have one more question. And I'm going to ask some next steps question of Councilmember Hitchin, if that's okay. In this agreement, this formation of the Abatement Council, does it set aside, I didn't see it, so I probably missed it. Does it set aside funds for administrative support for the Abatement Council?
Yes. So I can get you the reference, but each party is required to set aside 10% of their annual funding for the administrative costs. And then in the ILA, it actually says how the auditor's office will bill each of the parties. So it won't be until the end of the year that each party receives an invoice for the administrative costs related to the Opioid Abatement Council. And then it's prorated based on the allocation formula that was used for the settlement funds.
And so those are the administrative funds for the Abatement Council, the audit function. Is that up to 10% amount also available, that the same pot of money for any sort of staffing to help staff allocation committees or leverage the dollars, write additional grants, or do additional work to further leverage these dollars? Is that part of the 10%?
No, so that's separate from this resolution. This resolution is just dealing with the Opioid Abatement Council, right? You had the One Washington MOU that detailed how all the funds can be spent, and that says that another 10% can be used for administrative costs related to the allocation.
Okay, it's up to 10%. So this audit function doesn't have to take that much money.
Correct.
It takes what it takes, but it doesn't have to take up that much money.
Correct.
Thank you. Councilmember Hitchin, since we're on the topic, I'm wondering if you are at a place where you can share your thinking about next steps in terms of allocation committee for cities and towns and the county in general.
So we've started conversations with some that have larger amounts of money around what they would like to see, because I don't want to start down a path that's going to turn our other larger jurisdictions off because they have the most funds. And our smaller jurisdictions, we've had some that are just like, we want to make sure that we're getting something, and you need to make sure you get to us, but our amount is not enough to fund something in our community, but we obviously have a need. So the conversations have begun. There's a couple different ideas that have floated around. One is the Behavioral Health Advisory Group being the allocation committee. The concern is, do they have enough expertise on their current board to really cover substance abuse? So that's one of the ideas. The other is setting up another group. And the third is to come up with something that we haven't thought of yet. Like, is there another way of doing this? Does it have to go through a board? Could it just be done through the staff? And then the fourth would be using the opioid task force as an allocation committee. So there's a lot of different ideas kind of swirling. We're trying to figure out which would be the most expedient, and also remembering we have that 10%. It would be every dollar we spend on admin and costs like that reduces what goes out to door for the community. And so I think finding something that will be the most effective and really center on lived experience and those in recovery, and has as much overhead reduced. We want that number as small as possible, but we want it to be effective. So there's walking that fine line.
Right. Want it to be effective and want it to be available in the event there's opportunities to leverage
Yep,
these dollars, which we know takes professional staff time to.
yep.
to
Somebody
leverage.
looking.
It's a fine balance.
Yes.
Thank you for answering those questions. Seeing no other hands, Vice Chair Campbell for a motion.
Thank you, Chair. I move that we forward proposal number R 2023-91 to the full council with a do pass recommendation.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we advance proposal 2023-91 to the full council with a due pass recommendation. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. Item number 8 is other business. Is there other business by members? Is there any other business by staff?
No.
Seeing no other business for the Rules and Operations Committee, we are adjourned.